Hello and welcome on Watches TV. Arnaud, thanks for having us here. And today at Geneva Watch Days, I'm introducing two main new pieces. One is a collab, the one behind us, we'll talk about this in a second, but also your very own new car watch. Tell us all about that.
I love the car, And first of all, thank you for coming. You're always welcome, you know that.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
So we have made a car, there is one famous car, a very famous car in the world that has won over 2,000 races. That's unbelievable. And I wanted to pay tribute to that. So we have made a clock in the shape of, not that car, but inspiration from it, with plenty of details. Lepe, we like to mix form and function and to have somehow some twist of humor embedded inside our product. So what we have done is we have placed the escapement as a brain of the driver. Why is that? Because what makes your car precise, first of all? The most important part is the driver. You can put the best driver in the worst car, you will beat the worst driver in the best car. But what makes your watch precise? I'm sorry, it's not you. It's not the owner. It's how the escapement has been precisely set. So we place the escapement as a brain of the driver with the idea the accuracy sits on the driver's seat. And on top of it, we have a glass dome helmet in the shape of those conical-shaped helmet that they were also using in racing, to protect their ears, not their eyes, because they had some people, beating their face and so on. So we have this, and in front of the driver, we have a steering wheel, a 3-spoke steering wheel, made in the same way as they were made at the time, but the idea is the steering wheel usually drives the car. In a watch, there's no way to drive it, but you need something to drive the time, to set it once in a while when you have forgot to rewind it. So the idea is the steering wheel drives the time. When you turn it, it's how you set the time. In fact, it double has a crown. On one side, on the other side, because it's a 3-spoke, you can realign it. You know how picky can be on detail. And because that was not enough, one of the famous element they have on those cars were the wheels that were able to cool the brake, which was very special, and they had those big brake, hand brake, on the side, this big lever. So we use the big lever to release something, because one of something that was major on this car is the engine. They had an 8-cylinder engine in aluminum, which was quite new for the time, and it was very reliable, and not the most powerful, but really reliable and very light. So what we did is, when you pull this lever, this handbrake lever, in fact, the engine is released, and you can grab it in your hand. Let me grab it. You can grab it, and once you have grabbed it, it's a nice 8 inline cylinder. You can light it up. It's a torch. It double as a torch. You have a fuel gauge lever as well as the standard hole to fill it up. So it's a nice object, also made in aluminum, made in a way that it will last nice for a long time. So that's really the idea of this new car, something special. And because that was not enough, you know how picky I can be, I wanted to add something. We have made a nice object, and I don't want people to say, oh, it's a toy. It's not a toy. It's more than that. Some people say it's a piece of art, but I won't go that way. I will say it's a nice kinetic piece. And that gives time. And what makes the difference between a toy and a real car? The toy, the tires remain round, because cars are light. On a real car, the car flattens at the contact point with the ground to have a better sticking surface. And what we have done is we have used the same deformation on the car. So when you lift the car, you let it slowly go down, and you can see the tires, flattening. That's kind of details that I like to implement in my car. It's not obvious, but someone that knows about it will look at, wow, there's something special in it. We need to find it.
You thought about everything.
No, we never thought about it. Like, nothing is perfect, but we try to.
And to wind the timepiece also, I mean, you can make it
you're
move.
right, I forgot
There's
that.
a little detail.
It's a fully mechanical object, so you need to rewind it. When I grew up, I didn't grow up with those remote control cars. I grew up with the spinning car and the pullback car. And this is how the car, in fact, it's how you rewind it. You pull it back like the pullback car of our childhood. Twist of humor between that brings us back to our childhood.
And now talking about the second piece, and this is a collab. I mean, you've been enjoying a nice collaboration partnership with MB&F. And I know that you guys have been working on this for a very long time because it's extremely complex, of course, more than 1,500 components in this one. Tell us a little bit about the development of it. What was the basic idea and how you managed to pull it off?
In fact, first, we are celebrating our 185th anniversary, as you have said, but also the fact that we are working for 10 years with Max. And across those 10 years, we have made 15 clocks together, 15 co-creation. But I say with Max, but it's with Max, but also with the full team. It's with MB&F because I like to work with the team. My team like to work with their teammates both way around, so it's very nice. And we had a guy that we know that I'm working also with on some design because I don't do everything, like Max, we cannot work on everything on our own, so we have a team to work with us. And Eric came up with that idea, coming from somehow the inspiration of Jules Verne. So he came up with a drawing that blew up both our mind, and we just tweak it a little bit, and here is what's happening. A clock that is an 8-day power reserve. It's a big clock. It's about 2 feet, so 60 centimeter by 60 centimeters, so 2 by 2. It's a big baby.
Yeah.
70 kilo, but it's a very standout pieces. When people are coming, everyone sees popping up. It's wow, what's that? And on top of it, it's as I say, it's an 8-day power reserve clock, but it's also strike every hours and every half hours, and you have propellers that are turning. This floating boat has 32 propellers that turn. In fact, you have 16 of them, but they are double. So you have 32 propellers that are turning every hour. But that was not enough. I wanted to have something fun in it. So, and sometimes it can be annoying to have some noise during the day. So you can shut down the chime mechanism and keep the propeller turning, or you can have everything, or you can have just a propeller, just a chime working, or everything. Everything, nothing, or you choose which complication is working. Very easily with some bars, some levers that you activate. And one thing, because you're with friends, you have friends coming home, and you want this object to play, but you don't want to have the sound, but you don't want to have play for like 7-8 seconds. No, you want to have it play for a couple of hours. So we have added a function. When you pull the lever, you hit the repeat button on demand. You can repeat on demand the functions. The propeller runs as long as there is remaining power inside the clock.
And I guess, it must require quite a lot of energy. How did you cope with that?
It took us a lot of energy. In fact, we had planned to launch it last year, but that was too challenging. We had to add 1 year because I wanted to add those small devices, It's nice to have a clock that repeat on demand, that strike every hours and half hours. But then when you think of using it, you say, something is missing. I have my friends, I want to have it nicely, working, but I have this noise. I don't have it set for long enough. So we just launch it a little bit longer to have to modify again the movement to implement something even nicer or more fun to use, let's say it this way.
And obviously, every component is made by you. They're all hand-finished, so for your team, it must be quite a challenge.
Yes, they like challenges, of course. Otherwise, they will not work for me. I'm always coming back at the office with some crazy idea, but I love that. I'm very lucky because we have very talented guys that like the challenge of manufacturing and of decoration of the product. And they also come up with some nice idea, like, we place inside, because we like to have some hidden effect, hidden object inside our product. So inside the deck, you have a place where through the porthole, you can see the steering wheel, the boat steering wheel with all the dashboard. Some things that when you look at the piece, oh, it's nice, but when you deeply look into details, you can find, oh, that's in. So it's kind of things that is nice, like the polishing and all of those aspects. It has to be nice, obvious when you see it. When you look in details, you can see some stuff that are even nicer.
Yeah. And what are the different executions you're coming with?
We'll come with 5 different executions, all limited with 8 pieces only. It comes in blue, green, red, black, and somehow champagne color.
Uh-huh. And you mentioned before people coming in and being kind of astonished, surprised by this object. Obviously, it's quite a costly object, but I mean, I'm understanding what's behind. I can fully understand. So what has been the response so far? What has been the kind of the commercial response?
We had quite a good response on it. And you know what? I should have placed it much higher because all those people told me, only? I want it. So that's, in fact, but that's the philosophy of Lepe. We don't want to overprice our object. It's really depending on how much effort we have to manufacture it and what are the challenge to overcome. It's not about making the most money out of it. It's to have a fair value of the object. And, usually it's what helps a product to remain, at a fair value over time. So that's truly our philosophy at Lepe. So the price, even if it's 119,000 Swiss francs, which is about $42,800 dollars. But really, for all of the people that have seen it, it's worth it, really easily.
Yeah.
So that when people are telling me that, I'm pretty happy. Meaning that.
Well, they perceive the value.
They perceive the value, yes.
Cool. And still talking about execution and coming back to the T35, also what are the different variants that you're proposing?
For the T35, we are starting with 4 different executions. The French blue, the black. It's the first time we're making a car in black, shiny black, it's beautiful. We have the Ferrari red, and we have the British racing green. So 4 different colors to start with.
Okay. And now talking just a little bit about business, because there's been some important news regarding Lepe this summer.
I was wondering when it will come. When it will come in the discussion.
So yeah, basically, I mean, it's been bought by LVMH.
Correct.
And what will this enable you to do, and how we will be able to develop the company with this new ownership?
It's great. LVMH came to Borders to make us an offer to buy the company, which was great because they have philosophies that really fit inside what Lepe has always tried to do. First of all, we have to understand that LVMH is looking at entrepreneurship first and foremost, and quality of product, luxury, but something that never fool people. And within the history of Lepe, we have never fooled people. And we have always tried to be as fair as possible, to be reliable with our customer. And so it's a nice partnership. And we have taken risk as entrepreneur, because when I took over the company 15 years ago, wow, even when I was speaking about clocks, people were running. Yeah. Whereas now there's a true interest inside it. It came again, on top of the scene. Yeah. So it's a very good time for developing the activity, and LVMH will help us in development of the company with the idea to keep Lepe as an exclusive brand for specific people. It's not for the common man to own. We don't want the product to be at every corner, at every shop, in every street. That's absolutely not the idea. It's really for specific people, for making exclusive objects.
Yeah.
Connoisseurs. For connoisseurs. Yeah. You're perfectly right. But they will help us to increase the production, because right now, imagine, we've made 40 of those pieces. We have 108 point of sale, but we are not able to make more than 40 pieces of those. Otherwise, we cannot produce any more product. So they will help us to develop. They will also help us to have more power within the market, because right now we are quite quiet. They're also going to help us to develop some after-sales services, remote after-sales services within the world to make the life easier for the end customer. So the idea is really to continue what we have established, what the path we have drawn for the last 15 years, and to help us to remain in exclusive position.
Excellent.
And to produce for everyone, because LEP is producing for his own brand, but also for third parties. And they ask us to continue to work for other people.
Parties that are obviously outside of the LVMH group. It's you're working
That's
for
really
many.
the idea. It's to be able to supply every other brand that want to work with us. As long as we have a common share value, then we can work with them. It will remain the same as we did before, except that the lead time should be shorter. That's the idea. But not only to work with the group, it's to work with everyone.
Okay, well, congratulations to you and your team. And, what a crazy object. Fantastic.
That's a good representation of what we are doing and who we are.
Excellent. Well, thank you for having us, and best of luck with the future.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye, thank you.